Hey, I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Annie.
And we have 111 years of experience. And on today's episode, our Halloween episode, we're going to be talking to a horror writer, J Kevin Jennings. Hi. How are you?
How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. So we found him at a pop-up shop that we went to when we were looking at Liberty Station to go interview them. And they just happened to be having a pop-up shop. And you had a booth, and we were like, "Well, this is cool. We want to see who you are and what you're doing," and realize that you're a local fella.
I am a local fella. I've lived in Rutherford County pretty much all my life, except for when I was at college, and then I came back to Tennessee. And I love it here, and I love Tennessee, and I convey that, and I try to write a lot about Tennessee. You know,
Well, you write what you do.
I write so much about Tennessee because I love Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I want to know about how you became an author.
Ooh.
Because at some point that's going to be me.
Absolutely. Well, so I've been writing for. I've always loved writing. I was a reader as a kid, and I started reading probably certain things way too early, like. I read Carrie when I was 9 years old, Stephen King, and I discovered Richard Matheson at probably 11. So, you know, I'd always loved the scary stuff, the creepy stuff, the weird stuff. And when I was 9, I tried to start writing that kind of thing too.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's early.
Do it seriously until I got to middle school, trying to write even more. And then, so when I was 17, right before I graduated high school, of course, I'm old. I mean, I guess technically it's 164 years of experience today. And so they used to have like sci-fi, fantasy, horror journals like that would come out like quarterly. And so I actually had a story I wrote, Mardrack the Observer, and that got put into a one of those journals. So that kind of began my
how fun.
And that was at 17.
That was at 17.
So you're basically been published at 17. That's really cool.
Yeah, and then didn't do anything else for the next 30 whatever years.
It's usually how life happens.
It is. I mean, my journey took me in different directions, and I was writing still. Like I wrote plays for church and things like that, but it wasn't. I wasn't writing, the way I necessarily want to write.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So that was kind of my journey,
Yeah.
When I went to college, I was going to college with the intentions of, doing that, Well, I went to Campbellsville, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah. When I first started,
I mean, you said that's what life does. Life throws you.
Right.
That's what happens. Yeah.
My first year of college, I was a medical technology major. But I was like always in the music building. I wanted to be in the music building. So that's what I ended up. I mean, I went from here to totally different direction. Ended up with a music education degree.
Right.
Absolutely. Nowhere near where you thought.
Nowhere near where I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, my school was. I went to nursing school, and then wound up having kids, and then starting to watch kids, and then I was like, "Well, I love this. This is exactly where I want to be." And special needs brother, we grew up together, and really focused me in on special needs kids. So that's just where I ended up.
Yep.
So it's just so funny because your journey is just what it is.
Yep.
It never comes out exactly the way you thought it would, for sure. And if anybody does, that'd be more of a surprising story.
Right.
I think it is. Even if you get what you think, I mean, sometimes you just realize it's not what you. I mean, my degree is in comparative religion, which is kind of I don't know. It's about as useful as a philosophy degree.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's but I mean it's what I like. I like the study of that kind of stuff. I like I'm a researcher at heart. I love I love to research. I could back in the day I could sit in front of a microfilm machine for hours and just flip through looking.
Oh, geez. I remember those.
For which I don't have that book in front of me, but for the Tennessee is so dang creepy.
We had that one right here.
That was the one that I bought.
So that book right there, I mean, I looked at so many news articles and, just like looking those things up, confirm was this, like, I mean, newspapers from the 1800s, for some.
Wow, isn't that cool? See, and that's so fun. Like in itself, the research was fun because just the things you learn in those microfilm and stuff, it's kind of crazy.
It is.
It's kind of amazing.
One of the things they always tell you, one of the things you never want to do is you never want to look at a writer's Google search history.
Yep.
Yeah, my Google search history is kind of interesting. I mean, just things like,
some people might get the wrong idea. Is that what you're thinking?
I have the right idea. You never know.
Me and my husband recently started watching Game of Thrones. We never, we wouldn't watch it when it was popular, so we just started watching it. And my Google search lately has been like,
Are you enjoying it?
What?
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're hooked into it now. It's bad. We're in like the 5th season, I think.
Oh, 8. You enjoying it's about to change. Best thing on TV for 6 years, for 5 years for sure. 6 years almost.
Yeah.
And then season 7 and 8 happened.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I won't tell him.
There's still good episodes. I mean,
I was going to ask you how you got interested in the horror genre.
So that started with what I like to read, discovering Stephen King at a young age and even like Matheson. I've always been all those things are probably, again, I probably discovered them way too young. I love Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, and it's not just the like, it's not like just the popular stuff, just the, I like where he digs in and you see the parts of him that are not, that weren't so great, because we all have those parts inside of us. We all, none of us are pure light or pure darkness. We all got light and darkness in us, and you put beautiful things on the page, but also he was just, he was so full of, just bad things that the things that he experienced, but he didn't stop it from letting beauty come out,
Right.
My favorite quote is from Elegia. There's no exquisite beauty without some strangeness in the proportion, and I
would believe that. I like that.
I like that.
I like that.
In the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
I think that for me, it was always like, it was just as if you were seeing brutalist art or something. There's just like something about it that is just draws you in. And so like, I've always felt like I've read a lot of Stephen King as well, and I love Edgar Allan Poe, and I really loved reading a lot of those kind of things. I very much love anything that I listen to a lot of paranormal podcast stuff and stuff like that. I enjoy it. It's a little bit of escapism.
Yeah.
In a world that feels like it is related to your world, but not. Yeah. And then also, I was going to say, I'd really love to hear some stories from local things that about our local area, because I'm telling you, we were going through your book and I was kind of surprised at how many places that were like, not that far away from us here in Tennessee
So there's this website, and I always tell people this, and they've got like 87 places listed on that website. They're like the most haunted places in Tennessee. So I've been to 78 of those 87.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So if it's, Rutherford County in itself, a lot of it for me, like a lot of that stuff is I'm a history guy. I mean, I love history.
Yes.
But I
most of it's
I like historical. A little dark, and good news for me is most history is pretty dark.
Yeah, there's a lot of brutality in history. Like if you really, there's a lot of brutality there. It's a brutal life.
Yep.
So I will give you the most interesting.
Okay.
Rutherford County thing. Ooh. So one of the most interesting places that Rutherford County used to have was there used to be a house that sit on Church Street, diagonally across from the post office. There's a bank there now. The house, there's a little contention on whether it was called Magnolia Place or Magnolia Manor. Big, fancy, nice house that had just dilapidated, man, over the years. So Magnolia Place, especially for people that lived on the Riverdale side of town, which I'm a Riverdale graduate, was always a mysterious place. Before my teenage years, after my teenage years, there's probably many people that ventured inside Magnolia Place to look around. And there were always bizarre stories about Magnolia Place as to what had happened there. So there was a lot of mystery in the place. And like my stepmom is like 70 years old. And she tells me that she never remembers anybody ever living in that home, which means it's empty for at least 30 years, maybe more than that, maybe 40 years. And so that's at least. You can't find a lot about, I guess the statute of limitations is well past. So I went into Magnolia Place on 8 different occasions. So I don't know if any of the stories about Magnolia Place were true as to what happened there. There's stories that were told that some people said that a person lived there and he actually murdered his family. People said that he just murdered a friend and buried him in the basement. I will tell you this, that so you went in the basement of Magnolia, and the minute you walked in the basement of Magnolia, right off to the right was a room, and the boards in the floor had been busted up and there had been a hole dug out. Now, does that mean that somebody took a body out of that floor? I don't know. To say that happened, I can't say that happened.
We can't say it didn't either.
Can't say it didn't either. Now,
looks a little suspicious.
Yeah.
I have things I can tell you about Magnolia Place, and I have wrote about those things. Magnolia Place is something. As a matter of fact, there's a chapter in that book on Magnolia Place. There's also there is my second book, which is called Soteria, is about my experiences, because my background is a ministry background, but it's also a background of paranormal research.
Yeah.
But I have either participated or led 20 exorcisms.
Wow.
Or led 20 exorcisms. And my introduction to that world happened at Magnolia Place.
Really?
Shortly after I got into church, I took a friend there that was kind of mentoring me. I was just turned 20 years old. He was 45 and a good guy. And he took an interest in the things I had an interest in, which was great. It's something as a young man that helped me become more involved in his world because he took an interest in my world. So, but on that occasion, he inside Magnolia Place started to break out into a sweat. He became very disoriented, and he refused. I said, maybe we should leave. And he refused to leave. He would not leave the house. So he became, and I'm going to refer to him as Wally, because that's what I refer to him in the book.
Okay.
Fictional name.
Gotcha.
So Wally refused to leave. I tried to encourage him to leave. And his, at the same time, his countenance and complexion changed instantly. He started to speak in a different voice. And, and I had no experience with these
You're
things.
like, what's going on?
But I knew enough to know he needed to be out of the house.
Right.
So we ended up on the ground with me trying to pull him out of the house. Now, I'm a big guy.
Gosh. Yeah.
So it took a while. We were dragging on the ground. And I was new to the world of Christianity. So, I'm praying. Probably at that time, I'm praying to every God I could think of. At that moment, I'm like, I need to get out of here. And he's fighting and pulling, and he has started to have things I would learn later about. There was this. I hope nobody's watching with their dinner. There was black gunk coming out of his mouth.
Ooh.
We finally got outside of the house on the ground, and I was still holding on to him, and I heard a car pull up. And at this point, I was like, thank God it's the police. They'll arrest both of us. And then I'm in a situation and they can take care of him.
Yeah.
Well, it was not the police.
Oh.
It was a lady that we actually went to church with, who her and her husband had been in deliverance ministry, had been exorcist for over 20 years. And she had been asleep on her couch. And in a dream, she saw us in Magnolia Place.
Oh, and was like, ooh, they need us right now.
Wow.
Dang, that's cool.
And she dropped on the ground with us right there, and she said, you hold on to him. And it went on for a while. Let me tell you, it took a while.
They weren't giving up that easy.
He vomited the demon that was inside him out, and it came out like if smoke was solid. That's the best way I can describe it.
Wow. That's cool.
But he recovered just fine, and everything was all right. But that started something for me that day, and I added a second facet to what I did as a paranormal researcher and began to study demonology. And actually, I already had a lot, and then when I ended up finishing my degree in comparative religion, there was a lot of that side of it. I mean, people are under the assumption that all these things are fake sciences, and I don't know. You can get a degree from Duke University in parapsychology. I mean, Duke's a pretty prestigious college.
That's true.
So it's that's not a diploma mill where they're handing out things.
Right. Yeah.
It's not, so, and I know, and I understand, believe you me, I know a lot of paranormal investigators. So I understand why people start to assume these things. We're all not those people. The people that, there's a world full, including on TV, of charlatans in this field that give respectable people a bad name. That are trying to, just do things in a right way. So, but that led my journey. I began training with those people and witnessed exorcisms at their house. And, throughout my years, I've either led or participated in 20. And I'm a numbers guy. I feel like I might get 21. It's been 5 years for me. My health isn't great. I have in the back of the book, the Soteria book, there's a list of the injuries that I have sustained in exorcisms, including concussions. I've had to get stitches 3 different times. I've had cracked ribs. I had a 16-year-old girl leave her press-on nails in the side of my hand.
Ooh, yikes.
Wow.
So, it's a bumpy ride sometimes.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I think it's it's people believe what they want to believe, and I don't have any, if people tell me demons aren't real, they're not around, I'm like, I don't want to argue with you about it. I mean,
Right.
That's your belief and you're entitled to that belief. I also know that I spent 42 hours in a guy's house in Chattanooga, and he had to remodel the whole first floor of his house from what was sustained during that exorcism.
Wow.
And I mean, he's a general contractor. He'd tell you all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it involved his brother at his house. The exorcism it took 42 hours, and there was cracks in the sheetrock, windows broke, the chandelier came down. It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The worst thing. I mean, there are, it's not a huge number, but there's a number of people that have died in exorcisms performing the exorcisms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not a huge number, but there are people that have.
Yeah.
That was good. I say you gave story. You got my attention there.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what's it?
When I do horror cons and everything, now that the Soteria book, I think the Soteria book I'd have to look at my numbers, but I think the Soteria book is my best-selling book because people just have an interest in it. So I've got 2 fiction books and 3 nonfiction books, and next year I'll add 2 more fiction and 1 more nonfiction next year. But people like the demon stories that play. I mean, they do. They like the demon stories.
Yeah. I can see why they're compelling.
Okay, yeah. Tell us about the new book you got coming out.
Well, the new book, it's out. Right now it's only available on Amazon. It will be available locally in our area in a couple of bookstores in a little bit. So
wonderful.
I really wanted to, I set out to write some pure horror. I really wanted to write a pure horror book. So I wanted to write something about, I had for a while, I wanted to have Edgar Allan Poe in a story. So the anchor of this book was always going to be a story about Edgar Allan Poe, the mysterious last days of his life. For people that don't know, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of that. He disappeared from Richmond, and he was found a few days later laying in the street of Baltimore. He was sick. He was taken to Washington University Hospital and died shortly thereafter. So those last few days of his life are quite the mystery. So I decided to write a fiction story about
what you think happened.
About what I think happened.
Yeah,
he was summoned to Baltimore to work a case.
Gotcha.
And the story is called, I'm not going to give a lot to it, but it involves a cult and a missing girl. And so it's called The Raven's Last Case.
Oh.
And so that was always going to be the anchor of this book. And then I've had this villain that was actually part of a progressive dream I had as a child. And his name is Diner, and I've used Diner in a couple of things I've written, but I ended up bringing Diner into the equation of this book. The first short story in this book is about Diner and his involvement with the Fates and the Loom of Destiny. And that's how the book kind of starts. And then all these stories are interconnected with that first story.
Okay.
But it's a wide range. It's called Fate Once Denied, which is...
Fate Once Denied.
Okay.
That's from the eulogy that was given at Poe's memorial.
Cool. That's neat.
Yeah.
But it's... it would be a good read for if you want to be traumatized a little. I wrote It's really, I think so. We have beta readers that, that's one of the ways, especially if you're an independent writer,
Yeah.
Beta readers help you minimize the cost of editing.
Yep.
That
I'm
you
beta reading right now for somebody.
What's that?
I said I'm beta reading for somebody right now.
Oh, awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, I beta read for friends, but so my beta readers, who all but one who is new, I mean, they told me that they think, it's the purest scary stuff that, as far as fiction goes, that I've ever written. I'm glad for it. I really want it to do that. I want it to have something that was just, and there's everything in there. There's a couple stories that involve cryptids. There's one that involves a vampire. There's one that involves a werewolf. There's a serial killer. It's a wide array. These stories are a wide array, with like 3 or 4 of them being pretty long, and then the rest of them there's 256 pages in the book of.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I'm really happy with the book. I normally don't say that much. Because the whole writing process, people always ask, like I did a signing. I was involved with a local author event at the Smyrna Library this past Saturday, and somebody was asking me about the process. And I said, well, there's a lot of crying normally.
A lot of tears
involved in the process.
Starting and stopping.
Yeah.
I love it. I hate it.
Yes. Oh, constant a lot of that,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I've enjoyed, actually, man, I hate to say that, but I've enjoyed writing this book.
That's good.
I'm worried I'm never going to, I start to worry I'm never going to crank out a novel, though I have one almost finished that is going to be a part of a trilogy that's going to feature the character Diner very heavily. Everything I've written fiction, all of it takes place in the same world.
Oh, okay.
So all these characters can and do interact.
They're kind of crossing over and in and out, and like
probably most of the characters from my first book, Area 16, and from this book will appear in that, which it's called. We're 2027 on this now, so but it's the Fifth Day trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the first book, which is called Spearfinger, I mean, it needs work, but it'll be out March of 2020. So I got 3 books coming out next year, but March 2027, we'll see Spearfinger, and that'll be my first long novel.
Okay.
Wow. Cool. Very good.
Well, we'll see.
We wanted to know how you circled back to writing after you'd been out of it for so long.
So I had been trying to put the Area 16 book out, which was my first book. I've been trying to put it out for, trying to work through it for about 2 years. I had my 50th birthday party, had a little 80s party, and I even revealed the cover of the book there, though I wasn't really close to finishing it. And then I ended up getting divorced. And in the process of that life change, I thought of the great words of Stephen King's character Red from Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. And I thought about those words, get busy living or get busy dying. And it's in the movie, and Morgan Freeman says it in the movie. You need to read the short story, though. It's a great short story. But
sorry, excuse me.
I really thought I need to find my way. So I'd worked on that book for 2.5 years. Before my divorce, and in the process of 2.5 years since my divorce, I have 5 books out.
Yeah, wow.
That's really good. So had you worked on it before, like the 2 years before you were?
2.5 years before I got divorced, I'd been working on the book, trying to get it to a point where it could get out. And then it was just, it started to flow, when, I'll tell you this, if you want to write, the best way to make that happen is you need to write.
Mm-hmm.
You need to write every day, regardless. Even if it's absolute trash and you think it's horrendous. On my Google Drive, there are 127 works in progress.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I do my
drafts upon drafts upon drafts.
Yes. And I do my best to write every single day. Who knows if I'll ever use it. But writers need to write, and they also need to read, and they also need to expose themselves to, the things that will make you write.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you read a line like "get busy living" or "get busy dying," when you read a line like "there's no exquisite beauty without some strangeness in the proportion," that makes me want to write, because I want to write a line that somebody else reads one day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That they have to stop
and they go, ooh,
stare at a wall.
Yeah, that's our favorite. We talk about that in our conversations all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that there's sometimes we'll be like, we need to put that on a T-shirt. That's good.
That's the goal of every single writer, is to write something that, that somebody else, that they look at, and it doesn't have to be a multitude of people like it's been with those two lines, that just one person is affected in a way enough that it changes them. It doesn't matter whether you're writing poetry or romance novels or erotic clown fiction. It doesn't matter what you write. It doesn't matter what you write. You want to change someone with it. I mean, that's the goal. True writer, I mean, everybody that writes is not a writer. But if you're a writer, you want to elicit some kind. I mean, you want to manifest some kind of change in someone's life,
right?
And that's the goal. I want to. You want to make people cry. You want to make them afraid. You want to make them happy. You want to make them sad. You want to, whatever you want to do. You want to, you want to bring out some kind of emotion where that they're, even if it's a tiny part, they're just not the same.
Yep. I love it.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being a part of our podcast. This has been big fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate it so much. Hey, the book's on Amazon. Fate Once Denied. All my other books are there too.
I love it.
Okay.
My other books, this one not yet, but it will be soon. My other books locally, you can get them at The Great Escape at Jackson Heights, and other places.
Wonderful.
But my other books are there, and hopefully other places soon. But
yeah,
if you're in Murfreesboro, you can get them there.
All right, cool.
Love it.
Great to talk to you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.